vehicle and accused of helping to essentially corner.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Madam Foreperson, I understand you have reached a verdict as to each defendant.
Yeah.
Please hand your verdict forms to the sheriff.
Vehicle and
Felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Greg McMichael. Says he met.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Resistance. Y'all see the title. Elite member of white supremacist America. Kevin Gough, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into Kevin Gough today. We're going to get into all the press statements he made, everything he said in the courtroom, outside the courtroom. We about to get into it. But I want to just play one of the best joys that I had today. Okay? One of the best joys that I had today, I want to play for y'all.
The vehicle and accused of helping to essentially corner.
Shout out Milk 35, Miss B, Philly Boy 420, Lisa Ryan, James Williams.
These verdict forms separately. The first verdict form I have is the state of Georgia versus Travis McMichael. Mr. McMichael, please stand. Verdict is as follows. In the Superior Court of Glenn County, state of Georgia, the state of Georgia versus Travis McMichael, case number CR 000433. Jury verdict form. Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty.
There you go.
There
you go. Let me play it one more time.
Guilty.
Right there. There you go.
Travis McMichael, guilty.
I gotta stop it right there. Right there, ladies and gentlemen, was the greatest joy that I had today. Ahmaud Arbery's dad and his celebration form with the arm swinging in the air, and I don't give a fuck about you, Mr. McMichael. You're fucking done. Shout out to Ahmaud Arbery's dad for that celebratory response that he made in the courtroom, okay? In the courtroom. One more time.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty. I'm going to ask that whoever just made an outburst be removed from the court.
No problem. I will get the fuck out of here happily if that was me. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, listen, we can get into this. We can definitely get into this. We can see the verdict all over again if y'all want. If not, we can continue with the scheduled program that I had. But if y'all want to see it, put one in there. If not, y'all want to continue on, put 2. I'm going to play in the meantime. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Ngozi Maureen Okoli, what's going on? Manny Pants UK. Look at his face, y'all. Look at the face. The face is rock solid. Look like a decompressed butthole. His face does. Look at the face. He know he's done. Look at his face. He know he's done. It seems like the ginger is just getting darker on his face for some reason.
There be no outbursts in the court.
Fuck you, Judge.
Please respect the court's desire.
Judge, we don't give a fuck about what you're saying right now.
If you feel like you need to make a comment or otherwise demonstrate with respect to the verdict, I do ask that you step out of the courtroom now. Count 2, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty.
Guilty.
Count 3, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty.
Guilty.
Count 4, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty.
Yes.
Count 5, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty. Count 6, aggravated assault.
Run it down,
We, the
Judge.
jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty.
Shout out James
Count
Williams.
7, aggravated assault. We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty. Count 8, false imprisonment. We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty.
Look at the face,
Count 9,
though.
criminal attempt to commit a felony. We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty. Dated this 24th day of November, 2021.
If there was a sketch artist in the courtroom right now, he would have made an exact composite of his face. Let's go on to Greg McMichael. Hey, Greggy. Stand your old ass up.
County, the state of Georgia versus Greg McMichael. Case number CR20000433. Jury verdict form. Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Greg McMichael, not guilty. Count 2, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Greg McMichael, guilty.
Oh, yeah.
Count 3.
Oh, no. Don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes. You didn't close your motherfucking eyes when your son pulled that motherfucking trigger on Ahmaud Arbery. Don't close your motherfucking eyes. You look at all this shit.
McMichael, guilty. Count 3, felony murder.
Open the motherfucking eyes up.
Defendant Greg McMichael,
Pick your head up.
guilty. Count 4, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant Greg McMichael, guilty.
That's your ass.
Felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant Greg
Shout out to
McMichael,
New Guru.
guilty. Count 6, aggravated assault. We, the jury, find the defendant Greg McMichael, guilty. Count 7, aggravated assault. We, the jury, find the defendant Greg McMichael, guilty. Count 8, false imprisonment. We, the jury, find the defendant Greg McMichael, guilty.
Mannequin
Count
Man.
9, criminal attempt
Motionless.
to commit a felony. We,
The
jury,
only
find
thing
the
that
defendant
probably
Greg
moved
McMichael,
was his
guilty.
asshole to let the shit run down his leg.
November 2021, signed by the full.
Shout out to
SUPREMAST
Manny.
O'Brien.
This is whoa. This is the one that I love, y'all. I love this one This one right here is the one that just made me feel so good. Other than the celebratory performance that Ahmaud Arbery's father did in the beginning. That arm swung all the way up in the air and came back down, and he ain't even cuss. He just made an outburst, and I just loved it. I just felt it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to his dad, man, for his mother as well, the whole family for, persevering through this bullshit, man. Because even today, nothing's going to bring back their child. You think what I'm saying? But this right here, Roddy, he's the motherfucker who just jumped in the situation. He jumped in the car. Ladies and gentlemen. When I say he jumped in the car, he joined in with the gang. He jumped in the car. Oh, it's a nigger running. Let me join in. I don't want to miss out on this fun. Yeah, come on. I'm gonna take my pickup and I'm gonna run him down as long as the fuck I can. And what happens? The McMichaels, they trap him. Anyway, y'all know what happened. But this is the part right here that I wanted to get into and that I love. Right here.
In the Superior Court of Glenn County, state of Georgia. State of Georgia versus
Shout out to American Amy.
Case number CR20.
Woo! Look at this face. Man, I don't know how. It looks like a white chocolate covered fucking raisin. Look at this fucking face right here. Shout out to American Amy, Renetta Williams, all the way from Wynn, Arkansas. Toy Young.
0433. Jury verdict form. Number C. County, state of Georgia. State of Georgia versus William R. Bryan. Case number CR20000433. Jury verdict form. Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, find the defendant William R. Bryan not guilty. Count 2, felony murder.
He ain't know how to take that right there. He like, whoa, wait a minute, okay, I didn't, intentionally kill this motherfucker out of hate, and they found me not guilty, and maybe, might be going good for me. Let me listen on.
We, the jury, find the defendant, William R. Bryan, not guilty. Count 3, felony murder.
He like, whoa, I just might make it on through.
We, the jury, find the defendant, William R. Bryan, guilty.
That's your ass.
Count 4, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, William R. Bryan, guilty. Count 5, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, William R. Bryan, guilty. Count 6, aggravated assault. We, the jury, find the defendant, William R. Bryan, not guilty. Count 7, aggravated assault. We, the jury, find the defendant, William R. Bryan, guilty.
Oh, yeah.
Count 8, false imprisonment. We, the jury, find the defendant, William
guilty
R. Bryan,
on that ass.
Count 9, criminal attempt to commit a felony. We, the jury, find the defendant, William R. Bryan, guilty. Signed this 24th day of November by the foreperson. Go ahead and see.
And there you go. And y'all seen it 1,000 times yourselves already. I kind of debated with myself if I was even going to play this, but how could I not play it? Okay, shout out to Ace again. Eric Wiley says justice prevails twice this month. That's up for debate, Eric, but okay. Anyway, I debated if I was going to even play this because I know you guys seen it everywhere. I've seen it everywhere, but I said, how can I not when I'm about to get into Gough, Kevin Gough, the racist Kevin Gough, ladies and gentlemen. And everybody always asks me, why does it resistance? Why does it have to be about color? Why does it have to be about race? Well, when you watch trials live on TV like this, and it's just thrown in your motherfucking face, that's when it's about race. You dig? That's when it's about race. But listen, let's get into the father's response on why he threw that. He's short, but he had a long ass arm when he celebrated. That arm went all the way up to the goddamn crust of the fucking courtroom building and came right back on down. And this is his response on how he felt at the time. Three, 2, 1.
Oh boy. These 3 men looked at my son in broad daylight and tried to cover it up. Try to act like he broke some laws, but thank God the video showed that he ain't never did nothing.
They ain't break shit.
He ain't never take nothing.
He take nothing.
He never break nothing.
He ain't break nothing.
So they were trying to have an excuse to kill a black man.
This was to kill a nigger.
Really racist. I did my investigation too. The dad and the son were really racist. They were real deep racist. They didn't want to have nothing to do with black people at all. They didn't want to be around them or nothing, but they got to understand.
In court, you said something to the deputies. You just said, I've been waiting so long for this case to sort you out. Tell me about what you said to them and your feeling in that moment.
Oh, I just told them I give all glory to God, and I'm thanking God for.
Shout out to Creole.
My son got justice.
That you have waited so long.
So long. Yes.
So long.
So long.
You can only imagine how Marcus and Wanda felt. I mean, to us, it's a news story. It's a case. It's a hashtag. Mm-hmm. But you understand, that is his baby boy.
Yes.
His flesh and blood.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was gut-wrenching when you heard that just moment of exhilaration where they proclaimed that guilty.
That's why he swung that arm in the air the way he did and brought it back down and got kicked out the courtroom. Okay, and that's why I said, fuck you, Judge, because that dad lost his son for no reason. If he wanted to do 20 jumping jacks, he had every right to do so.
Guilty.
Yeah.
And Marcus was overcome with emotion and had to leave the courtroom. And so it really spoke to all of us in that moment. I thought about, how many people of color have been killed unjustly in America.
Shout out to American Amy. Have a good night.
For them. it spoke to how far we have come in America in our quest for racial justice in America. You think back to Trayvon Martin almost 10 years ago, and all the people who have been killed in that time that never got any accountability. Well, I think that gut-wrenching exclamation from Marcus was all of us just having a sigh of relief for once saying that the jury got it right.
Just the last question for y'all. How are you going to remember this day and that a mostly white jury convicted Travis McMichael?
One of hope. This verdict is hope for America. To say that we can be better than this, America. We thought about George Floyd, and they got that verdict there in Minneapolis, and now here in Brunswick, Georgia. But it should not be that we have to have a video for Black people to be able to get access to the courts so we can have justice. And so we don't want it to be mistaken that it is that precedent.
Shout out Brian Howard.
This is about
It's a wonderful
Ahmaud
Thanksgiving.
Arbery, who was lynched for jogging while the world was watching and saying, we won't go back to Jim Crow.
Thank you so much.
Y'all might want to stick around, ladies and gentlemen. We haven't even got started yet. Y'all want to stick around. We're getting into Kevin Gough, the racist white supremacist Kevin Gough. Y'all know what he said. We're going to breeze through everything that he had to say. Okay? This piece of shit would not let it die all the way to the end, ladies and gentlemen. All the way to the end. Shout out to Ty Guillory. Game Bill you. What's going on? So let's just get into, all right, here we go. First of all, let's get into the poof puff hair looking chick that was in the courtroom looking like Bette Midler in 87, okay? That had the nerve to talk about the deceased in the way that she did. Shout out to Real Jinky. Listen to this shit. This was crazy.
Into a home that is not his own and running away instead of facing the consequences, acting erratically when approached, and making terrible, unexpected, illogical choices. But a mother's love doesn't fade from that beautiful boy in the ball cap to the young intruder. And sadly, no verdict can change the grief of that future not realized. The hope that he could have turned himself around. Because all we can guess about the young man is that his teenage years were full of promise, but his early 20s just led him in the wrong direction. The facts presented in this trial bear no resemblance to the story that the state told you in opening statement. A 25-year-old who met a brutal death after being chased and killed by residents of a neighborhood who wanted nothing more than to murder him for having the audacity to jog in their neighborhood. Not a single piece of evidence that's been presented to you in this entire trial supports such a hateful and gruesome set of circumstances. Turning Ahmaud Arbery into a victim after the choices that he made does not reflect the reality of what brought Ahmaud Arbery to Satilla Shores. In his khaki shorts with no socks.
You piece of shit.
To cover his long, dirty toenails.
Welcome to Racist America, ladies and gentlemen.
There were two sets of decision makers on February 23rd. There were two sets of decision dirty toenails. Shores. In his khaki shorts with no socks to cover his long, dirty toenails.
That's just crazy. They are racist as AF. Okay? They are racist AF down there. Satilla Shores area, the Georgia area. This shit's crazy. This was closing arguments. This is how they talk in closing arguments about the deceased. About the deceased, goddamn. Well, and it gets just, crazier than that. But let's go to the prosecution. Let's, get into what they had to say after the verdict was delivered.
Celebrate Hanukkah with this.
It's been a long trial. Have any of you had a chance, or any of the staff had a chance to kind of process the emotions, what happened today, or anything like that, or has it just been just adrenaline all day?
Adrenaline all day.
It has been adrenaline all day. It was very exciting and very intense to wait for the jury to come back with their verdict. And when they, of course, came back, there's a verdict. What are you going to do? And then, of course, we received the verdict, and we were very, very pleased for justice for Ahmaud and for his family.
And so you had to take over this case, then you had to build it and try to get a conviction against 3 people for multiple crimes in the same trial. So was there ever a how do we do
hold on, wait a minute. I have to address this because I don't quite understand why this is being presented in this live chat right now. Tiffany Wagerman said that if the black community knew that Germans are not racist, that Stalin was a Jew. I give neither fucks about the Germans or Stalin right now. And why is it every time when it's about black, it has to be, somebody has to bring it up about another group? This is about Ahmaud Arbery being slain in the neighborhoods of Satilla Shores. What the fuck does that have to do with Germans and Stalin? Please stick with what's going on in the live stream, please. Goddamn.
moment?
I don't think there was a how do we do this, because that's what we're trained to do. I think our whole job is trained to pick apart cases and make sure that our strategy is set. And from day one, with my experienced colleagues here, we knew what we had to do, and we just had to make sure that we relayed that to the jury in a way that they understood it.
They were sticklers to the law. They wasn't letting shit go by. Okay? These motherfuckers were the goddamn trinity of prosecution. Okay? They did their thing. You gotta give it up to them, especially with a case like this.
Mess me to that one. Right here. So there seem to be a lot of distractions from the defense. You had the black pastor's comment. You had the dirty toenails comment. You had a lot of motions for mistrial, striking almost all of the black jurors. Correction.
Cop blocker, he's goofing off on me right now. Should I say Stalin, not Stalin?
What did you think of all of that, and was any of it surprising to you?
No, the defense has a job to do. And one of the things that they want to do is throw our team off its game. That is why there are motions for mistrial. That is why they make some of the arguments that they make that may be offensive or unnecessary to be made, but they are just doing their job.
Wow. Now, the fact that they stuck up for them with the borderline racist, these motherfuckers said a whole bunch of crazy stuff during the trial, at closing arguments, and after the trial. Okay? I haven't even gotten to it yet. Y'all want to stick around? Y'all might want to share this shit. It's going to get juicier every 5 minutes. All right? We're going to go through this video, though, and hear what the prosecution had to say, how they felt and what they were feeling as they were getting it on in that courtroom. All right? Shout out to everybody in the chat.
The video, the one taken by one of the now convicted defendants, they mentioned Kevin Gough mentioned, there wouldn't be a trial without that video. Do you believe that that is a correct statement?
I don't believe so. We had other evidence in the case. We had their statements, which I know for Mr. Bryan, those definitely helped seal the deal. So the video was great. It was a bonus, but it wasn't the end all be all.
This is what I mean. When you're a winner, when you are a winner, and whatever level of winning that you're on, you can talk heavy, okay? Because she just said that without the video, she believes they would have spanked that ass. Without the video, she believes they would have spanked that ass. Now, she's talking heavy, all right? Now, we could just take that as talk because they're winners right now. You know, they're on the grandstand and giving up their feelings on the situation.
So you don't think that it would have been harder to get those convictions without that video?
I mean, definitely harder, but that wasn't the only piece of evidence we had. We had when we did our evidence list, over 400 exhibits. So we had quite a bit. The jury had quite a bit to review and consider.
And do you know how much potential time could they get here? They're not going to be out of shoot 5 years or anything like that.
So in the state of Georgia, if you are convicted of murder or felony murder, it is an automatic
breakdown of the time that they'll be receiving. Pay attention. Breakdown of the time that they will be receiving. For those who didn't quite understand, this is where you perk your ears on up and just take a little quick listen.
life sentence. The judge has no discretion except to give felony murder. It is an automatic life sentence.
Life
the judge
sentence.
has no discretion except to give you a life with the possibility sentence. So both Travis McMichael and Greg McMichael are looking at a minimum sentence of life with the possibility of parole. However, because of the other charges in the indictment, they're actually looking at a potential sentence of life without the possibility of parole plus 35 years. Now, for Mr. Bryan, he is looking at a potential life with the possibility of parole sentence as the minimum, but also a maximum sentence of life without the possibility of parole plus 15 years.
And that was just for jumping in the car, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Bryan. That was just for joining in with the gang, participating, having a pick a nigger fun day, okay, should we say. That's what that was about, and that's what he deserved for that, for just hopping in. He hopped in the car, he decided to join in, and this is what he gets.
And I'll add something to that. In Georgia, the life sentence is a minimum of 30 years before you're eligible. So as far as them getting out in 5 years, no, as it law stands right now, they're going to be doing at least 30 years before they're eligible if they, once the judge does hand down that sentence.
And by eligible, he means eligible for parole.
Eligible for parole.
Perfect. And I want to talk about something. You and the defense have both had different ways that you wanted the jury to consider.
Shout outs to discerning observer.
Right? Start from the bottom up. And of course, the defense, go in order. Or what did you say? The count of malice murder and then everything else, consider that as a big chunk. Can you kind of talk about your strategy behind wanting them to work from the bottom up?
Actually, I've advised juries to do that because I received feedback from a jury that said, well, what we did was we started from the bottom up because it seemed easier to tackle these other charges before we tackled malice murder. And I thought that was great feedback from that jury. And I have advised other juries to do that. Just start with the lesser charge. Look at, in this case, criminal attempt to commit false imprisonment and see where that leads you, because it will lead you eventually to the heavier charges of felony murder and then to malice murder.
Perfect. So race was a topic the defense didn't really want to touch. And it was something that the defense really never wanted or said never played a part in this trial. So with Georgia passing the hate crimes bill and with overturning citizens' arrest and with the convictions today, all of that combined, what message do you think that sends not only to the community as a whole, but to the Black community and to the Southern community?
Well, definitely don't take the law into your own hands. That was a big thing.
There you go. And this is directed to the white people, the crazy white people. Do not take the law into your own hands when you see a black man running down the street. No matter what you think is going on and what happened in the neighborhood, please, okay? The time has come when your ass will be handed over to you very smooth like, okay? Life sentences, depending on what state you're in. Or just an asshole full of time. If you keep continuing with the bullshit and taking black lives as if it doesn't matter. And that is no support with Black Lives Matter, ladies and gentlemen. I just thought that was something cute to put in. Listen, white people, crazy white people, stop that shit. You're gonna have a problem. It's gonna come down on you. All right, it's gonna rain real hard.
And trust the system, trust the process. And my hope is that this case and this verdict helped restore some faith in the criminal justice system, especially for some people who may have lost that.
Look, we're going to shake things up. The most professional police division in.
There you go. All right, what else we got next? So that was the prosecution's. That was the interview of the prosecution telling us what they were going through at the time of the trial. You know, when they were cross-examining and the closing arguments and what their game plan was. So moving on, let's go on to the defense and see what they was talking about. This is from the defense after the verdict was delivered.
We want to thank everyone who gathered here in front of the Glenn County Courthouse to show their support either for the Arbery family or for the McMichaels. We understand more than you know how valuable
Shout out Jack
to have people come together, peacefully assemble, share their voices, share what's in their hearts, share what's in their minds. This is a very difficult day for Travis McMichael and Greg McMichael. These are two men who honestly believed that what they were doing was the right thing to do.
Well, let me just stop this right there, because throughout this whole press conference, we got the guy right here on the left. If anybody know who he is, please put it in the chat. I never paid attention enough to the defense to notice this guy. But the whole time, keep his frown. It's as if they have his mouth stitched closed, ladies and gentlemen. Check out the frown on his face.
However, the Glenn County jury has spoken. They have found them guilty, and they will be sentenced. And that is a very disappointing and sad verdict for myself and for Bob and for our team.
You piece of shit. You piece of shit. You seen it for yourself. You couldn't just bow out gracefully with the L that you took, but you had to double down and say that it was the most fucked up shit that you ever seen. You piece of shit.
But we also recognize that this is a day of celebration for the Arbery family. We cannot tear our eyes away from the way that they feel about this. And we understand.
That don't mean shit now after you just said that you doubled down on how fucked up it was and that, it shouldn't have happened. Come on now you're going to bring up the Arbery family? Nah.
That they feel they have gotten justice today. We respect that. We honor that because we honor this jury trial system.
Do y'all have any questions?
Do you plan to appeal?
Yes, absolutely. We haven't had a chance to talk to him yet. He was taken back to the Glenn County Jail. He was very.
The question was asked, what was one of the McMichaels? I'm pretty sure he's speaking about Travis. They're speaking about Travis McMichael, but they wanted to know what his morale was going back into the jail.
Stoic. I was right next to him, feeling his body next to mine, and was ready for him to react, and I really didn't feel any reaction. He's a strong man. He understood the potential consequences in this, and he whatever he was feeling, he was holding into himself.
I bet he was. But guess what? He gonna have to let it out eventually. If he was a real man, it wouldn't be nothing to let out because he knew it is what it is because he did what he did. You feel what I'm saying? It is what it is because he did what he did. Because it wouldn't be nothing to let out. That's what real, when they go to the tank, when real men go to the tank, that's what it is. Yeah, I did it. Give me this time, and I'm gonna lay up on it. But no, this tight motherfucker, he gonna let it out. He probably ain't already let it out.
We very much honor the larger conversation that's happening around the country. The fact that this case was...
Shout out to independent First Amendment auditor. He says he's new here, everybody. Give him a warm welcome.
Brought into the fold of that conversation has made it very difficult indeed to have a trial in the normal sense of what we typically experience. And so to the extent that that has played a role in this or played a role in the verdict, we don't fully understand it right now, but I'm sure in the oncoming months, we'll get more information about it.
I don't think any single case is a referendum on the criminal justice system in America. This case was about these people at this moment in time. We had good prosecutors, good defense lawyers, and a good judge, all working hard to make sure justice occurred in this courtroom. And whether the verdict had been the way it went or had been the other way, not guilty, justice would have happened in this courtroom. And it doesn't speak about...
So he's saying that if they would have ruled in the McMichael's favor and Mr. Bryant's favor, justice would have prevailed. Justice would have been prevailing outside of that motherfucking courthouse. Best believe that. Whoever want to say, "Oh, that's the most negative thing you can say," I'm telling you, goddamn, if justice would have prevailed in the McMichael's favor, there would have been hell raising outside of that courthouse.
About the larger problems in America.
No, we haven't had second thoughts about it. I'm sure that our decision to keep the case here, to not move for a change of venue, will be discussed ad nauseum. And it will.
Shout out to Quinn Lloyd. He says racism needs to stop. We all need to unite. Quinn, do me a favor. I want you to hold tight, take your shoes off, sit back, don't go no fucking where, because I got some shit coming up. And I want you, after you finish watching, I want you to address how we need to attack this racism, because it seems like it's slamming us, okay, the minority in our fucking face. And we have no choice but to bring it up. So you hold tight real fast and watch what's going on, because I got some racist shit coming up.
I don't consider myself a...
God damn it, I done hit the wrong button. Give me 1 second.
That is a very disappointing and sad verdict for myself and for Bob and for our team. But we also recognize that this is a day of celebration for the Arbery family. We cannot tear our eyes away from the way that they feel about this. And we understand that they feel they have gotten justice today. We respect that. We honor that because we honor this jury trial system.
Yeah. That's what all the lawyers say at the end of the day. They always say that this is the best system that was ever put together to judge people's asses, because either we let them go or we fry them, and depending on the color, we'll fry their asses and put some sauce on it too.
Do y'all have any questions?
Do you plan to appeal?
Yes, absolutely. We haven't had a chance to talk to him yet. He was taken back to the Glenn County Jail. He was very stoic. I was right next to him, feeling his body next to mine, and was ready for him to react, and I really didn't feel any reaction. He's a strong man. He understood the potential consequences in this, and he whatever he was feeling, he was holding into himself.
Anybody know if he's going to be in General Pop? Are they going to be in Jenny Pop? Will they be in Jenny Pop, ladies and gentlemen? General population. Will these guys be in Jenny Pop, or are they going to be segregated and just pretty much spending the rest of their time in the RHU or the SHU or the whatever fucking U they have for their asses? Let me know. Are they going to be in Jenny Pop General Population Hit 1, or are they going to spend time in a restricted housing unit, Hit 2?
We very much honor the larger conversation that's happening around the country. The fact that this case was brought into the fold of that conversation has made it very difficult indeed to have a trial in the normal sense of what we typically experience. And so to the extent that that has played a role in this or played a role in the verdict, we don't fully understand it right now, but I'm sure in the oncoming months, we'll get more information about it.
I don't think any.
So a couple of people said that they will be segregated. Okay. Here's the thing, though. The feds are coming after their ass, right? And we know that, what is it, 95% conviction rate with the feds. We know they're going to get some time out their ass. And they want their time first. So they'll stay in the state for a minute. And then when the feds hit their ass up, the feds going to say, all right, give us our time first, and then come back down to the state. Now, in the feds, are they going to be segregated, or are they going to be in Jenny Pop? One or two in the feds. Segregated or Jenny Pop?
A single case is a referendum on the criminal justice system in America. This case was about these people at this moment in time. We had good prosecutors, good defense lawyers, and a good judge all working hard to make sure justice occurred in this courtroom. And whether the verdict had been the way it went or it had been the other way, not guilty, justice would have happened in this courtroom. And it doesn't speak about the larger problems in America.
No, we haven't had second thoughts about it. I'm sure that our decision to keep the case here, to not move for a change of venue, will be discussed ad nauseum, and it will certainly and could certainly become a part of the appeal. Right now, we are respecting the verdict that's at hand.
We were glad they wanted to look at the video because we felt from day one that the video showed that Travis McMichael acted in self-defense. Obviously, the jury felt very differently than we did, and maybe we had our own little tunnel vision going. But I always thought
shout out to Renetta Williams,
just as Greg McMichael said at the very moment it happened.
Shout out to Private 9. So the questions, there are questions being asked, and we can't hear them. Mighty funny.
I can tell you 100%. Looking you.
Let me pause this right here real quick. Mighty funny with these defense interviews. The sound is low. You can't hear the questions. So y'all just gonna have to deal with it because they don't want their shit out there like that. It's all on purpose that the sound is not coming in. It's all on purpose that the sound is not coming in. They did it on purpose. They told them, hey, look, don't have our audio super up like that. We don't want people to hear every word that we say. We want that shit to be kind of fuzzy. And this is what they're doing. You'll see in a couple of other press conferences, the same thing with the defense.
Looking you in your eyes, sir, and I can extend my heart to you.
Shout out to Mike D.
I'm going to answer your question. Honestly.
Shout out to Level Wise to see.
With my heart. I've lived with these men for the last year and a half, day in and day out. I've looked into their hearts. I've looked into their souls. I've had very deep conversations with them that stem back to their childhood, their upbringing. And I can tell you, honestly, these men are sorry for what happened to Ahmaud Arbery. They are sorry that he is dead. They are sorry for the...
Well, I be damned. They sorry. I didn't hear not one of those motherfuckers say that in court. If anybody heard them say that in court, prove me to be a motherfucking liar. Give me the timestamp. I'll go to it right now. I never heard none of these motherfuckers say, you know what? I shot the shit out of him. We hunted him down. I am sorry for that shit. I ain't hear it from Travis. I didn't hear it from Gregory. I didn't hear it from Roddy Rod, Dickhead, Bryant. I didn't hear it from none of these motherfuckers. But all of a sudden, they're sorry? The fuck out of here.
Childhood, their upbringing, and I can tell you honestly, these men are sorry for what happened to Ahmaud Arbery. They are sorry that he is dead. They are sorry for the tragedy that happened because of the choices that they made to go out there and try to stop it.
They're sorry because of the choices that they made to stop him. Get the fuck out of here.
That's right. We appreciate your question. We appreciate your question. Other questions? Well, we thank you very much for your attention and for your professionalism. Thank you.
Wait, before you scroll away.
Ain't that some shit? Is that some shit right there? So, we heard from the defense, and I was just part of the defense. But now, let's get into Kevin Gough. I call him Kevin Gough because it looked like it's pronounced Gough, but the name is Gough. Okay. It's fucked up either way, Gough or Gough, however you want to fucking pronounce it. He's an asshole. He's from racist America. Okay, born and fucking bred. Came straight out the asshole. This motherfucker right here. Kevin Gough, ladies and gentlemen. Let's listen to him.
Spent a lot of time, a lot of effort to go through the evidence. The judge invested a lot of effort trying to make sure these defendants had a fair trial. We may disagree as to whether we were successful in getting them that fair trial, but we certainly appreciate the efforts that have been made. And you've seen the efforts made in this case to try and contain the carnival-like atmosphere outside the courthouse. And that's pretty rough. You got you guys doing your job, and other people are doing their jobs. And you know, this is America. It ain't easy. If you want freedom, you got to work at it. And
whoa! He just dropped the gem on y'all, and a lot of people ain't picked this up. I'm gonna take it back. He just told on himself and the justice system, basically told y'all, it's no free ride to freedom. It's no free ride to freedom, motherfuckers. And I'm gonna be bold enough to tell you this shit on live fucking TV. Listen.
this is America. It ain't easy. If you want freedom, you got to work at it. And
if you want freedom, you got to work at it. Shout out Ace again. He picked it up. Ace again picked it up. Yeah, if you want freedom, you got to work at it. That's why when all these black men, when we get locked up for crazy charges that they throw on us, that's why you're in the law library. That's why when you get locked up, you're in that, in the county jail or whatever, you're in that law library hard as hell studying. Because only a true person gonna be in that law library trying to get out of jail if they really give a hell about their life. You dig what I'm saying? So that's one of the aspects of you gotta work hard for your freedom. But what he really want to tell you is, it ain't no freedom. It ain't no freedom. And 98% of y'all going to get caught in the fold.
I appreciate the efforts that everyone made, including the media. Bottom line is Mr. Bryan, is sitting in a jail cell and said being home with his family.
Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck about? Oh. He said, let me stop this so y'all can hear this again. This motherfucker said,
file a motion for new trial on behalf of Mr. Bryan next week. All that. We will see what happens from there.
Yesterday I was asking you details about the case. You said you couldn't discuss it at the time. Let me ask you this. Do you think that self-defense or citizen's arrest are really applicable?
So I missed it. I hit the buttons again too fast. Hopefully I can come back to it. But he said the bottom line is that my client, Mr. Bryan, is sitting in the cell for something that he shouldn't be in there for.
Being home with his family, and I can't pretend that I'm happy about
Whoa, he said he's supposed to be home with his family, and he can't pretend that he's happy about it. This is the motherfucker who joined in. He was on his porch, okay? Got all this Sanford and Son shit all on his porch, working on the shit. He sees the shit. He decides to do it he decides to join in his damn self.
Everyone made, including the media. The bottom line is Mr. Ryan, is sitting in a jail cell and said being home with his family, and I can't pretend that I'm happy about it.
Do you plan on appealing?
We will file a motion for new trial on behalf of Mr.
He's sitting in a jail cell and should be home with his family. Wow.
Ryan next week, and we will see what happens from there.
Yesterday I was asking you details about the case. You said you couldn't discuss it at the time.
Well,
Let me ask you this. Do you think that self-defense or citizen's arrest are really applicable and justifiable in this case?
Well, you can't blame the jury for their decision in this case because they're obligated to follow the law that they are provided by the court. So, there were a lot of legal issues that were raised outside the presence of the jury as to what the law was in this case. There were a lot of arguments outside the presence of the jury as to what the evidence was supposed to be in this case. And the jury considered the evidence that they were allowed to hear, and they considered the law that was provided to them. And we respect the hard work they put into this case.
But do you think your client was conducting a citizen's arrest?
I'm not going to answer that question because if Mr. Ryan wants to discuss it, he has that opportunity in his federal trial.
He's wise enough to not give his true feelings, to answer a direct question of his true feelings. He's wise enough to not do that. But we know how he feels, though.
Last question for you, sorry. Very last question. Racial overtones. There was a lot of conversation about racist comments being made during the trial. Do you believe that to be true?
I didn't hear that evidence.
All right. We know what he's talking about. We know what the reporter is talking about, okay? I just want y'all to pay attention and watch how Deflect City, okay, just comes down on the whole situation. This is what he does. He's deflecting, all right? Watch how Deflect City just descends over all these reporters.
Very last question. Racial overtones. There was a lot of conversation about racist comments being made during the trial. Do you believe that to be true?
I didn't hear that evidence come in during the trial.
I'm referring.
I don't recall that. I mean, I'm not going to comment on evidence.
I'm referring to comments about I'm referring to comment.
Deflect City, just deflecting the whole question. He know what he doing. This is a paid actor, ladies and gentlemen. He knows what to do.
It's about long legs and dirty toenails, and also your comments about black pastors not being allowed in beyond this point because it could influence the jury.
Well, I'm not going to comment on the arguments that other people have made. These lawyers, all the lawyers, the Cobb County lawyers, did a fantastic job.
Wow, just totally not answered the question.
Family, and they deserve a lot of credit. They did a marvelous job. And just because I didn't appreciate it, from my perspective as the opposing attorney, doesn't mean I don't respect them. They did great legal work. They deserve a lot of credit. Whether you like the result or not, their duty is to present their best case. They did an excellent job.
Thank you for your time.
Attorney Gough, you had comments the other day to the Arbery family talking about how this must have been difficult for them. The message for them now this trial has concluded at this point.
Here's the sad thing. They've been here for a month. And it's nice that we've got everybody celebrating that. But when the newsmen go home, the cameras go home, their son's still not.
Wow. Wow, do you hear this dude? Yo, this dude, let me cut this music. This dude is vicious. He said they've been out here for a month. And at the end of the day, when they go home, their son is still not here. This motherfucker is vicious. Listen to this.
I think this has been a month. And it's nice that we've got everybody.
Has concluded at this point.
Here's the sad thing. They've been here for a month. And it's nice that we've got everybody celebrating that. But when the newsmen go home, the cameras go home, their son's still not. And the days of
Wow, cold-blooded, yo. Cold-blooded. This is why I'm playing this stuff. I want y'all to really, look a little deeper into these press conferences and listen to what this dude's saying. He's just, total disregard for the family.
Has concluded at least now.
Here's the sad thing. They've been here for a month. And it's nice that we've got everybody celebrating. But when the newsmen go home, the cameras go home, their son's still not.
Wow.
And the days and weeks to come, I think this will be even harder for them than it's been up to now. Everybody's been here to comfort. But the way these things work, everybody goes home. And they still have to live with the loss of their son. And that's a real tragedy. We can't fix that. Roddy Brian can't fix it. Nobody can. I guess that's not what I'm supposed to say, but that's the reality.
Wow.
Being a victim is very complicated. And, it's just until you've been a victim, until you've been close to someone who was, you just can't appreciate what they're going through.
I'm so glad he took this L. And he's looking like a fool.
It's not going to end.
The fool of racist America. How's he doing?
Well, obviously, I didn't have a chance to talk to him. I haven't seen him since he walked out of the courtroom. I think y'all were watching.
We watched, but you were actually sitting.
Yeah, he was shook. He was shook.
Of course he was shook. He better been shook. He better continue to be shook.
Believes the fairy tales that we teach kids about our government growing up. And here he is. He does everything he's supposed to do. He's fully cooperated. He's done everything.
He didn't do anything he's supposed to do. He participated in a fucking murder, you piece of shit. This is what I'm talking about with racist America. They will look you in front of your fucking face and ignore the obvious, okay? They will talk around that bullshit. They will talk around it all day long. You'll be fucking dizzy fucking with these motherfuckers. I'm telling you. I've been dealing with them since I was 6. I'm telling you. This motherfucker is ignoring the obvious, won't bring up the obvious, that they didn't have to, they were extra. They were extra. It didn't even have to be a murder. It could have been a detainment. I'd have been cool if they had just jumped on him and held him down. If it was that serious. No, they was out to kill a nigga.
And now he's looking at spending the rest of his life in prison. I mean, anybody in that position would be disappointed, would be hurt, would be shocked.
Do you believe he has a chance
At his age, 25 years before parole eligibility, I don't think parole is even something that he's going to be worrying about right now. The time he could reach parole eligibility, I don't know what life would be like. But we're going to file a motion for new trial. He's going to have an appeal, and we believe the appellate courts will reverse this conviction.
Well, let me stop this real quick. I got random bastard. Random bastard. Okay. Because, see, I don't duck down when motherfuckers address me. I'm pretty sure most everybody that rock with me know that. So random bastard is saying you're killing each other in Chicago. Why not address that? All right, so random bastard, I have a question for you. Are you a minority or are you white?
Did he say anything?
Shout out to Deanna Latrey.
He didn't have to. I could look at it and tell how it felt.
We talked about that motion to sever that was filed right before both sides
Yes,
rested.
Last question.
Looking back, is that something that you still believe would have been the best course of action for your client?
Hey, hindsight's always 20/20. I don't have all the answers. It was a complicated.
So
problem.
random bastard wants me to address the killings in Chicago. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have no history of what's going on in Chicago. I don't know what's going on in Chicago. I don't live in Chicago. Okay, I do know they're killing all over the country. They're killing all over the world. Can't stop the killing. Killing's going to go down, whether it's within the minority group or within the majority group or outside of those groups. The killing is going to happen. Do you know how many killers you are amongst right now? Come on, man. We can't. The killing's not going to stop.
It's a complicated case, a lot of issues. But we filed the motions that we felt we needed to file, and we filed them when we felt we needed to make them. And it'll be for the appellate courts to sort out what justice looks like for Roddy Bryant.
I appreciate your time.
Kevin Gough.
So that's Kevin Gough. And as much of an asshole that we know he is, fairly moderate interview, right? Fairly moderate interview, because we know this dude is just a straight up asshole, right? And even with the question that was asked that, how do you think he feel about, with the verdict and everything? He said, look, at the end of the day, they've been out here for a month and, they've been celebrating and they even out here today. But when the camera crew packs up and when everybody goes home, their son is still not coming home. That's some cold-blooded shit. But even still with that, that was still a fair, moderate interview. Let's get into another one. And I don't know how many people seen this one, but this one, this was vicious right here.
Winning makes you confident. Ding, ding, ding.
Get this up out the way. Wait till you peep this one right here. This one was, I didn't even know about this one. I didn't see this one.
Counselor for William Roddy Bryant, Kevin Gough. Counselor, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here, Chris. How you doing?
Better than I deserve. Why do you believe that the jury should not hold your client as responsible as the other two men?
Well, I don't really want to get into the details or try and summarize an hour and 45-minute closing argument. But, the question here is, when did Roddy Bryant know that the McMichaels were armed? When did Roddy
Bryant know when the McMichaels were armed? Well, Mr. Dickhead, doesn't matter if he knew that they were armed or not. It don't even matter if they were fucking armed. He jumped his dumb ass into a situation that he knew nothing about. He knew nothing about at that time, at that present motherfucking time. He had no indication that Ahmaud Arbery committed any kind of felony. All he knew, he was running down the street. So it was his dumb ass fault for jumping into it, whether the fucking McMichaels were armed or not. Because they could have just beat him the fuck down if they didn't have no guns. Okay? They could have hit him with the car. So fuck all that if he was armed or not. Dumbass Roddy fucking Bryant Jr., Mr. Dickhead, had no business jumping into the bullshit.
Brian know that they intended to shoot Mr. Arbery? And at that point, what could Mr. Bryant have done about it? Those were the three questions that I asked repeatedly. And we're still waiting for answers on that.
How do you expect them to get around the Georgia law that every person concerned in the commission of a crime is party thereto? Meaning, even if you don't have the gun, even if you don't pull the trigger, if you're part of what turns into a homicide, you are just as responsible as everybody else.
Why not?
Well,
why not? If motherfuckers was on one motherfucker and that motherfucker happened to die, then motherfuckers has to be tried for the same shit.
And that's exactly what a good prosecutor would say and what a good prosecutor would argue. And I think we can agree that the Arbery family in this case is represented by some very capable attorneys from the Cobb County District Attorney's Office. But at the same time, Chris, given your legal background, I'm sure you appreciate that the parties to the crime statute, particularly the one in Georgia, in this situation would require that Roddy intentionally help them commit the crime. And he didn't do that. And that's what the evidence shows. At the time of this shooting, as I've said many times, Roddy Bryant was a witness to the shooting. And indeed, he is the witness to the shooting. And it's his video that will allow this jury to try and sort out what justice means in this case between the Arbery family and the McMichaels. And I've said all along, that's not for me to decide. That's not for Roddy Bryan to decide. That's above our pay grade. We got 12 jurors here. We got a great, diverse, very thoughtful, attentive jury. You've been watching them during the trial, I'm sure. They've been taking notes. They've been very diligent. They've now got the evidence, and they're going to deliberate. They're going to continue tomorrow. And, all we can do is hope and pray that they reach a true verdict. And I think that's all we can hope for from our criminal justice system and from these 12 fine men and women of Glenn County.
You got three problems. One, he was in one of the vehicles that was trying to stop Arbery. It becomes what you and I know as a chain of battery, that he became part of the behavior that wound up leading up to.
So, wait a minute, I got a question by Mysterio. Mysterio, he asks, he says, do you think all the black racists being promoted by MSM are okay when they say all whites have privilege? Or are only whites able to be racist in your mind? Okay, so do you think all black racists being, first of all, if you're black, if you have history of receiving any kind of ongoing punishment, there's no way you could be racist. You can't be racist towards the people who've done all the harm to you. You're just reacting off of the shit that you've been receiving for the longest. So that's out of there, that part right there. Do you think all that black racists being promoted by mainstream media are okay when they say all whites have privilege? Well, I don't know if all whites have privilege, but I do know all the whites that I've met have privilege. Or are only whites able to be racist in your mind? We all, if you've been born and raised in this American soil that's been fed with blood in this country right here, whether you're white, brown, yellow, green, you're going to have a sense of racism carrying with you, okay? You're going to be carrying a sense of racism with you. That's just what it is. I totally disbelieve that there's a pure motherfucker walking around, or there's ever been a pure motherfucker walking around the United States of America the way they get down in this motherfucker.
To the shooting, we'll see what the jury thinks about that. One thing that you know, and I just want to make sure that the audience understands, the Arbery family doesn't have any lawyers in that courtroom. This isn't the Arbery family against the
Arbery
McMichaels.
family. The Arbery family is the most well-lawyered family in America right now.
Wow. This motherfucker is crazy. He only talking because he got lips. Listen to this shit.
The family doesn't have any lawyers in that courtroom. He was in one of the vehicles that was trying to stop Arbery. It becomes what you and I know as a chain of battery, that he became part of the behavior that wound up leading up to the shooting. We'll see what the jury thinks about that. One thing that you know, and I just want to make sure that the audience understands, the Arbery family doesn't have any lawyers in that courtroom. This isn't the Arbery family against
the Arbery
McMichaels.
family. The Arbery family is the most well-lawyered family in America right now.
Wow.
Hold on, counsel.
You get that idea.
Counsel. This case is the prosecution on behalf of the people. This is a crime against the community. This isn't about Arbery's versus McMichaels. This is Arbery as a victim, and the crime is against the state. The crime is against the community. The crime is against the law.
The crime is against black people. Hold on, Chris. Hold on now, Chris. Let's say it right. Fuck the state. Okay? Fuck the community. The crime is on black people. Hold on, I got a call. The crime is on black people. It's been an ongoing thing for a long time. You heard of it, you seen it, you witnessed it, and Chris, yes, even you have turned your head to it. You'll talk about it in that goddamn studio back there with a whole bunch of other white people. But the real point of the matter is that the crime is happening to black people. and it happened to another black person. Point in case of Ahmaud Arbery. Rest in peace.
Trial I have, there are 3 very, very capable lawyers from the Cobb County District Attorney's Office sitting there at counsel table. Linda Dunikoski has lit the courtroom on fire every opportunity she gets. Paul, Larissa, they have all done an outstanding job. And that's just the 3 in the front of the courtroom. Maybe you've not.
Shout out to Mr. Imperial. Mr. Imperial said, what did he mean when he said they are the most lawyered up family in America right now? Well, what I take it is that Reverend Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, and a lot of these guys are lawyers in a sense, okay? And I'm pretty sure a lot of the other ones that showed up were lawyers as well. And he's being smart saying they're the most lawyered up. If you wouldn't have ran your fucking mouth, they would have just had the motherfuckers in the goddamn courtroom defending the situation. But they received a shitload of support because you wanted to say, Your Honor, don't want any more black pastors in the courtroom. You piece of shit. You brought shit on yourself, you dumb fuck. Like, you're a piece of shit. Makes me Brunswick, Georgia, ladies and gentlemen. Don't listen. Don't ever go there. If you want to listen to me, I don't think it's a good place to go to. I'm scared. Especially if you got a criminal history. Don't go to Brunswick. They will fucking chop your ass.
Not been to Cobb County. Cobb County has an incredible district attorney's office. It's deep, it's well staffed, it's well funded, and these people are here and they mean business.
Yeah,
they are,
but they're not there just for the Arbery.
Have been incredibly well represented.
First of all, it's not. But I can't believe.
Well, you're asking me about the.
I can't believe you're saying this. I really can't.
You can't believe what? That I'm standing up and acknowledging that the Cobb County DA's office has done an incredible
No, that's not what
job
you
in
said.
this case.
That's not what you said. What you said was that the Arbery family is great lawyers. This isn't about just the Arbery's. This is about the whole community that was wronged when their laws are broken and someone is killed illegally.
In this case, the Cobb County District Attorney's Office represents the victim and their family in this case. And they are well represented.
They represent the people and they are advocates for the rights of the victim. You know that. And I feel like that takes me to my third point, which is, why are you trying to make this so intensely personal about Ahmaud Arbery? Why bring up?
Came right at him. You see how the last press conference, he totally deflected from the question? Chris right here, he came right at him. I got to big up Chris on this one. He came right at him, and it wasn't no way. CNN, he don't want to get shut down on CNN. He don't want to act like he can't answer a question. He came right at him and listened to this bullshit.
Black pastors and their presence and what you know is a public accommodation being this courtroom, and that you don't have a say in who comes and who doesn't come and observe. Why make that point? Why do you think about pastors in terms of black and white?
I can't help that one right there, but here we go.
I don't think of pastors in terms of black and white. And let's be clear, if you were in that courtroom sitting in my chair representing Roddy Bryant, you'd be doing exactly the same thing.
No, I wouldn't.
So
wow.
If it helps you to make that point, you can. But if you were sitting there, you'd be doing exactly the same
I wouldn't.
thing. As would
you know, you don't even have a right to do it.
Lawyer in America.
No, they wouldn't. To say you can't be in the gallery.
Really? Well,
to say I don't want black people in the gallery
based on the law that you're. I'm sorry, I didn't say that. Though we have no problem with black people being in the gallery. Never did, never will.
Black pastors.
I can't tell. Not what he said last week. No more black pastors. How you going? Come on, man. This dude, man, he's a fucking fool.
Read the motions, Chris. Do the homework.
Black pastors?
Millions of Americans.
Black
Read
pastors.
the motions, Chris. Do the homework.
Black pastors?
Millions of Americans across this country are looking to you to understand these proceedings. Why don't you take the time and actually help them? Why don't you read the motions? Why don't you read the Supreme Court cases from the United States Supreme Court that we cited? Why don't you explain to the American people why the opinion of Supreme Court justices doesn't matter in this case?
So he brought Supreme Court law. He said cite Supreme Court cases that would be in favor of his client, Roddy Dickhead Bryant. Anybody know these Supreme Court laws? I don't know it. But if y'all do, let me know so I could pull it up, so I could put it on the screen. I want to see a Supreme Court case that will go in Roddy's favor in this situation of him killing, yes, we can say it, the murderers of Ahmaud Arbery, Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and Roddy Dickhead Bryan Jr. I need to see case law that this dickhead's talking about. Kevin Gough, the elite racist, the elite white member of white supremacy. Racist attorney at law, Kevin Gough. This is how he talks on TV and how he feels about the case.
That we cited. Why don't you explain to the American people why the opinion of Supreme Court justices doesn't matter in this case? Because we think it does.
Counselor, saying a lot is not the same as saying something that matters. You can flood the zone. The interview doesn't end.
We can agree on that.
What I'm saying is...
Wait a minute. Let me stop it real quick. Let me stop real quick. No. I did not have a bad day. I'm basically going through press interviews of Kevin Gough and basically just exposing his racism. I can't stop and tell you guys what's going on at this point in time. You have to red ball it back. I'm sorry about that, but I can't just, stop it while everybody else been on track and alive. So if y'all can red ball it back, you'll be on point. Promise you. But this is just a rundown of Kevin Gough's press conferences and things that he said in and outside of court.
There is no Supreme Court case that says you can make a determination of who can be in the gallery watching a trial on the basis of race. You and I both know that. You said
Supreme
black
Court has
pastors.
said is
You
that the right of
confused
a defendant to a
Jesse
fair
Jackson
trial
with
is
Al
paramount.
Sharpton, and it seemed at a minimum a fit of ignorance, and at maximum you making a race play in this trial. Were you not doing that?
Chris, you can call me ignorant. You can call me anything you want.
Sounds probably not.
Roddy Bryan, and I'm going to defend my client to the best of my ability.
He is exuding racism, okay? It's seeping. That shit is coming from the back of his ears, on the side of it's racism is seeping off his funky tongue right there. Okay? It's just coming right on off and out.
I don't really care whether the people in the cheap seats like it or not. I'm here for one person, and that's Roddy Bryan. That's my job. And I know you respect that. And I'm sorry that we disagree on this issue. But I'm not going to back down from insisting that Roddy Bryan receives a fair trial. And we have a judge who's working very hard to ensure that. The Cobb County DA's office is working very hard to ensure that. We have a sheriff here who's working very hard to ensure to make the best of a difficult situation. And I hope that
he is tight around the panty line. You hear what I'm saying? He just can't believe that racist America is not prevailing at the time when it needs to. 3 white men, ladies and gentlemen. He jumped. It was his opportunity to be the great white hype and save these 3 white men. And as he got into the trial and seeing how the shit wasn't moving for him, he was like, oh, I'm mad as fuck. I can't let this happen. Come on, racist America, stand up. And if you see his face right now, he is just so fucked up to believe that his client is going to do a shitload of time, okay? All right? He's going to be doing a shitload of time. And the thing about it is that it's going to be an adjust period for him. He's going to have to adjust to this shit. Now he's going to have to understand that he's going to be there for a while. So he's going to have to unpack. They haven't unpacked yet. None of them. The McMichaels or Roddy Dickhead Bryan Jr. They haven't unpacked because they were on the hopes that they were going to get the fuck out. They were hoping they were going to get the fuck out. Now it's just crashed down on them, right? So they still got about a 3-month period before they unpack. All right? And, the best way to unpack is just, get into that jail. That's the only life that's going to be, of you right now. There's no other life that you're going to have, okay? I don't know what the situation is with the wife. I heard the wife had left. I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just focusing on the fact that you're going to have to get into that jail. Get into it. And get into it hard. There's a lot of things you can do. Basketball coach, you can work at the law library, okay? You can show motherfuckers not to do what you do with your racist fucking ass. You can tell them, don't do it like this. This is how they got me. Do it like this and see how it works out for you. You're a piece of shit like that. I got you doing shit like that. And when I say you, I'm speaking to Travis or fucking Gregory. Fucking Roddy, he doesn't have a fucking brain. He doesn't know what the fuck to do. He's just, they're chasing some niggers. There's a nigger running down the street. Let me get my pickup. Dumb motherfucker. He recorded it. And we're not even going to talk. He set his own stuff up. And he's the reason why the McMichaels went down. Okay? But back to unpack into this jail. You want to get into this jail, you have to find things to do, Hey, it's a long road. And don't worry about it. They done fucking lock down the prison system so good now. You ain't got to really worry about nobody fucking with you. Unless you go to do some Fed time. I don't know what that situation is going to be about. But let's get back to the video.
You can appreciate all that effort. I'm pretty sure the Arbery family appreciates those efforts to ensure that their son receives a fair trial. And I hope everyone can appreciate that.
Any victim of a crime is supposed to get this kind of representation. The Arbery is just getting what's due somebody
yes, sir.
In this situation. And the judge felt no differently about what you said about black pastors than I am presenting to you right now. And I'm not calling you ignorant. I'm saying the statement was. There's a difference. But, counselor, I appreciate you.
Chris, let me put it to you this way.
Yeah.
If every time a police officer is killed, we're going to allow the police department to stack the courtroom with uniformed police officers, I think you'd agree that would be inappropriate.
I also would.
Would you not?
I don't know that it would be inappropriate, but I know it's not an analogy. Having black pastors there to support the family, I don't think is going to have a chilling effect on a jury, nor should it. But, counselor, I got to go.
Well,
I appreciate you taking the time.
we can respectfully disagree. Thank you for your time.
Shut the fuck up. All right. What I got next? This one, he just pisses me off. Shout out to Private Nine. He exudes racism, okay? Look at that tie he got on. Look how crooked it is around his neck. Because this is what's behind it is racism, okay? It can't even stand right. It can't even hang right. Piece of shit. Oh, I'm so upset with this dude, man. The whole trial. And then this right here. How about this right here? This one right here, man.
I got people claiming to be violent driving around the courthouse with coffins with our clients.
Every day, the sun rises.
Did you hear that? Dude's a liar. He's just a straight up liar. He be lying in court and everything. Listen to this.
These groups, I believe it was the Black Panther group, is referenced in the motion filed this morning. That their specific objective was to influence the proceedings in this case. I don't know whether they intended to scare the defendants, but I have co-counsel with a small child who was scared to death. Large weapons, apparently automatic weapons, were seen outside the courthouse. And, given everything else that's...
if I ain't know no better, I think the judge was told, listen, do what the fuck you got to do. You know what you got to do. You know you can't have a whole bunch of shit on your head if you find these people. Look, do what you got to do. And he just sat up there and he just went with the flow. He let that shit go real smooth. And that's what this dude was upset about. This was his motherfucking problem. He didn't like the fact that the judge wasn't going the way he wanted to go. He didn't like that.
Already transpired in this case. We believe at this point that it's appropriate for us to renew the motion for mistrial. This court has gone to great lengths to give these defendants a fair trial. But the security precautions that were in place, despite the sheriff's best efforts and your Honor's best efforts, we've now got people claiming to be violent driving around the courthouse with coffins with our clients' names on them with semi or fully automatic weapons.
I played this last night, and this was a total fucking lie. This dude just lied. He's a fucking liar, lying in court. This was the ultimate low for me when he did this. I said, wait a minute, let me check on this shit. I still didn't see any caskets with the defendants' names on it. Should I say the killers, the murderers' names on it. I didn't see a casket with the murderers' names on it. I didn't see the McMichaels, and I didn't see Brian Jr. on it. I didn't see those killers' names on the caskets. Creole, did you see the killers' names on the goddamn caskets? We didn't see that. But what I heard the prosecution say was this. This is what I heard the prosecution say.
Nothing from the state except I was informed that this coffin situation that Mr. Gough was talking about did not have the defendants' names on them. They actually had the names of Mr. Arbery and I think George Floyd on them. So for the purposes of the record, I didn't see this personally. I was informed by my people that it was misrepresented of what names were on these coffins that were being.
It was misrepresented of what names were on the coffins. And we just heard Roddy say that the defendants' names were on the coffins. He's a straight up liar, cold-blooded piece of shit.
Shown outside as if it was somehow the defendants' names, and that's not the case, is what I've been informed. Just for the record.
I did ask the sheriff if that was the case.
Just for the
I
record.
haven't seen them, and so I'm only relying on what I'm being told, so I wasn't going to.
Just for the record.
But that's consistent with what I was told. Again, I didn't see them. There's nothing before the court. I'm just basing this on representations made by counsel and what I've been told by the sheriff's department.
In addition, I only have one other issue that I think needs to be taken up as sidebar. If we could approach about that point.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Resistance. And that was my wrap up on my Arbery trial. I try to, do a little different, not go do the same play-by-play that everybody else did. But I wanted to pick apart just a little this dude, Kevin Gough, all the things he had to say, which was crazy. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Level Wise to see, Private 9, The Discerning Observer, Creole, Ace Again, Scott Sky Linderman, Random Bastard. Appreciate y'all. Deanna Latrey, Renetta Williams, the Queen, all the way from Wynn, Arkansas. I'm gonna get up on out of here. It's been fun, y'all. I had a good night tonight. Hope y'all did. Hey, man, make sure y'all share this, man. Let other people see it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to bring some more streams to y'all on a consistent basis. It is what it is. Got to get my life before I bring it to y'all. So, y'all just stay tuned. It's the Resistance. Hit the lights! Everybody about to get killed out here. Like it for everybody.